used to go to. Right now I'm going to a school that's closer to my house and also 1/10 cheaper. So, of course, with that is going to come a different population of people. People that aren't necessarily there because they have a thirst for knowledge, more so just to pass the time and things of that nature. So, the classroom I'm in, there's a big window behind it and it overlooks the atrium. So you can see people walking and sitting down and doing nothing, which is what a lot of people do at my school. And this guy who's like 30, he came in commanding attention because I guess he needs that kind of thing. I'm minding my own business in the corner, doing my little work or whatever. Because believe it or not, when I'm not making a video, I'm not always like, hey, how y'all doing? Mayhem, woo! No, I mind my business. I'm in school. That's what you do. So he starts talking about this guy that's in the atrium who I'm just going to assume, I know when you assume it, you make an ass out of you and me, I'm just going to assume that he may possibly be gay, maybe just a little. So I didn't even turn around, I knew who he was talking about. And he's like, oh, look at this guy, blah, blah, blah. Man, that ain't right. Look at how he acted, look how he looks, blah, blah, blah. Because the guy had like a little pompadour going on, and I guess he didn't like the outfit he had on. So he's just going on about this guy, bringing everybody's attention to it. And the guys around him are just like, yeah, look at him. Ooh, they were just going along with it, I guess, because, okay, the class that I'm in is gender, power, and sex, or something like that. That's a sociology class. And we've even talked about it before, how guys, if somebody's making fun of somebody for being gay or whatever, they would just go along with it, even if they don't agree, because they don't want to be the one to say, oh, well, I don't think that's funny, because then they're like, oh, you must be gay too. So they're just like, oh, yeah, whatever. So he kept going on about it, and he's very loud, and nobody's really saying anything. So I'm just looking at him, like, really? For real? Okay. But I didn't say nothing. I was just looking. I was thinking, should I say something? I was like, you know what? I'm mind my business. I'm not going to get into it with this boy, so I'm just this man, because he's like 30, just looking. No. So he looks to me, he's like, you look like you want to say something. So I'm thinking to myself, well, he did ask, and I do want to say something. So since he asked, then I'll say my 2 cents. I was like, you know, it's not a very tolerant attitude to have, especially considering the class we're in. And then he just went off. He's like, who asked you? It's a free country. I can say what I'm a grown-ass man. I'm like, I'm aware of that. But you asked me to have something to say, and I do. And I feel like it's not right for you to talk about him just because you don't agree with the way he looks or whatever, because we're all entitled to express ourselves freely. And he looked a mess himself. He had on some full camouflage outfit, the hat, the pants, and you're doing too much. You're not in the army, okay? He's a hot mess. So anyway, he then tried to, like, I don't remember his exact wording, but it was somewhere along the lines of, you want to take this outside, something like that. And I was like, that sounds like a threat. He was like, it ain't no threat, I'm just saying. I'm like, sounds like a threat to me. He's like, I ain't threatening you. I'm like, that's a threat. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to ignore you now. And I turned back to what I was doing. He just kept going. Might got a little more cunty if the professor had been in the room, but I ain't about to get shot. This ain't Virginia Tech Part 2. You know folks is crazy, so, no. I didn't even get up out my seat. I was just looking at him like, you're a mess. So, in class, the professor wanted us to write essay questions that we might want to see on the test and just giving ideas. So I had mine, and it was about, and of course I shared it with the class. So we could, I was talking about him. I wanted him to know. So I was like, has gender socialization impacted the male, how has gender socialization impacted the male ego? And then more specifically, has it also impacted their intelligence and maturity levels? And I wrote this long 2-page thing, giving an example, and then explaining my answer. And of course, I called him out. But I will give him this. After class, he did come to apologize, so hooray. But it still was inappropriate and uncalled for. He's like, I don't want you to think that I was, I know what you were thinking, but that's not what it was. I would never bash anybody. Sound like bashing to me. And then things got weird, and he was like, so, I really need to pass this class. I'm like, oh, I don't really need this class. I'm just taking it. So it's okay. And he just kept trying to talk to me. I'm like, what are you doing? What is this? What's happening? What's going on here? I'm not sure where this is going, but this is weird. And he's like, so I really need to pass this class? I'm like, what do you want from me? You want me to give you answers to the test? What do you want? He's like, so can I get your number? I gave it to him because I don't know why. I was curious. I was like, I want to see where this is going. So I gave him my number just to see what he was trying to do here. I mean, does he want to be study buddies, or does he think since I stood up for that guy that I'm gay, so he's on the DL, he wants to get with me? I don't know. But apparently he's like a stand-up comedian or something, so good for him. I was going to give him my card, but my YouTube address is on there, and I knew I'd be making a video about him, so yeah, doing to that. But this is not the first time this has happened. I had a class, actually the same professor last semester in the same room, And same thing happened with somebody else. They were talking about that same guy. Damn it, I don't even know this person. I've never even talked to this guy. I need to go find him and be like, look, you about to be beat up multiple times. Get your life together. Take me out to lunch or something. You owe me because I keep sticking up for you. But somebody else was saying something about another time. And that time I didn't wait till I was prompted. And it wasn't as aggressive confrontation. It was just, I was just like, why you gotta talk about him? He should be able to dress how he wants to dress. And you should have nothing to say about it. So why do you gotta talk about him? Well, that's not right. And the guy was like, yeah, I guess, but I'm just saying. I was like, no, it's just not right. So, I mean, I'm not just some huge civil rights crusader that makes it my, you know, duty in life to constantly stick up for people. But, and sometimes I feel like, especially in reference to, you know, gay people who get it enough as it is, somebody has to stand up. Somebody has to say something. Because that's why Tyler Clemente was doing his little suicide dips and whatnot. And that little boy who was talking about it gets better, turned around and killed himself. Obviously, it didn't get too much better for him. So, if I could be the one to prevent somebody else from being bullied, especially about that, so what does it hurt? What does it hurt me to say something and stand up for somebody? Because somebody has to, and the people need to be shut down so they know not to do that. Because if you shut them down now, that will shut them down later on. They're going to think, maybe I'm not going to say something this time. Because people go around thinking they can just say whatever they want about people and talk about people, and nothing's going to happen. Maybe I'm not the best person to be talking about that kind of stuff. But still, it's not right. So I have to stand up. Stand up and say something. So I did. Now, if I have to say something the third time, there's going to be some issues, because maybe he just don't need to go to school there, because that ain't my problem. I ain't about to get shot over him. So anyway, just bring it in, bring it a little bit, bring it in. The moral of this video is, don't go around talking about folks, and then don't get mad when somebody checks you on it, because you talking about them, you're going to get talked about yourself. How you doing?